and welcome to this new guide of Dota 2 about supports and more importantly support itemization. I had some people asking me in my item videos to make a video about the support items and when to get them, how to use them. So here I am. And first thing first, well, congratulations for picking a support. God knows that in Dota 2 community we need support players. And first thing to know also is that as a support player you will have very few gold to spare. That means you have to be very careful about what items you get and when you get them. Second thing to know is it's not okay to die because you're support. I see some people going support and going 0-10 and say, you know, it's not my fault, I'm a support. It's not true. If you're a support, that doesn't mean you're excused when you die. It means that you have to be more careful, even more careful than anyone else, because you will have very low health pool, you have very low mana pool, you have very low mobility, so that means everything is going to try and kill you. And that means you have to be extra careful about not getting killed, because you're still giving gold to the enemy. So, let's start off. As starting items, you want to be like any other hero going out with regeneration items, tangos, salve. You can't go out without them, because you need the regeneration. The clarity potion is something that you might want to get if you're aggressive on the lane, so that means, for example, you want to try to get kills and roam around and help your allies. That means you can be okay getting 1 or 2 clarity potions. Now, it's not an item I recommend particularly on support heroes as starting items because you need the gold for something else. Gauntlets of Strength is also an item I put in the starting items because it's an item that can be made into the Bracer or an Urn of Shadows, which are 2 items that's very good for support. And also, take a look at Crystal Maiden. Right now she has 450 HP. If I get 1 Gauntlet of Strength, it increased by 60 HP approximately. This is enormous. I boosted Crystal Maiden's HP by almost 100, like 10% right now. And that means it's the difference between 1 or 2 right click that bring you to death. So those items, those stud items are very important for support heroes, especially someone like Crystal Maiden who's very squishy. So now up to the onto the 3 most important items for the support as starting items. Animal Courier. The Courier is vital. If you don't get a Courier, you'll be sure that your mid lane will lose, because if your 2 heroes here in the mid lane are evenly matched, the one who won't have a Courier will lose because they won't get any items. They won't get any regen, and that means they will lose. No question asked. So, if you have the choice between, for example, Courier or Wards, because you are the only one supporting, you get the Courier. You don't get the Wards, you get the Courier. Second item that's the most important for support heroes is the Iron Branch, because it's the cheapest item to give you stats, it's the most cost-efficient item, and that means that you need those items. You need those Iron Root Branch. Because sometimes you might be walking around with, for example, boots, bracers, and a TP scroll, and you have no more gold. You're like, you have like 100 gold maximum. Get the Iron Branch to fill up your inventory slots. When you don't need them anymore, sell them, drop them on the ground or anything, but those 3 stats are going to save your ass. So never walk around with empty slots. If you have empty slots, get branches. Alright, so this is it. And then you have the Observer Ward. So Observer Ward, as I said before, is an item that you need to get as a support hero, because of course you need the vision. But keep in mind that you have to adapt to the level where you're playing. If you're playing in very high bracket, it's not the same as if you're playing in medium bracket or low bracket. Which means sometimes you might be putting wards and people just can't really utilize them because they don't pay attention. They're new players, for example, so they are focused on last hitting, they're focused on not dying on their lane, and they won't watch what happened by the ward. They won't watch the minimap, they would have no map awareness, so when the enemy will come by here, and you'll be like, ping, 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 guys, be careful, and he'll die, and he'll say, what the fuck, man, say miss. This is just because he can't pay attention, and this is because, of course, he's not like a pro player, so it happens. It happens to everyone, and that means you have to be careful. One very common mistake I see support players do, because they are over eager to help their team, is over warding. So they put too many wards, they're spending too many gold in wards and they don't get any items. And this is very dangerous because as a support hero, if you get 2 set of wards, you just use 400 gold, which is almost a bracer. So be careful about warding, don't overdo it. If you see your allies are not paying attention to wards, only put at maximum 2 on the map at any time. This way you keep some gold, you still have some vision over the important areas like Roshan, like here, or like this area as well, to see if enemies are coming by the river. But there's no need to ward like here or there in their jungle, making lane wards, and trying to be pro if your allies are not going to make anything out of it. So careful about the wards, don't overdo it as a support hero. Then let's go on to the early game items. You might see that 2 items are recurrent every time. It's the Observer Wards and the TP Scroll. Those are the 2 items that are most important for the support hero. It's 2 items that you have to get, be that in minute 5 or be that in minute 90 in your game. You always have to keep a TP Scroll. So now that you have, why I'm saying the TP Scroll is more important than almost any other hero. I always said in my other videos that you need a TP Scroll all the time because it gives you so much mobility and everything. The support heroes are the one that are most concerned about this, because as a support hero you should be there all the time to help your allies. An ally is getting ganked, if you're Spectre or if you're Sniper and you're farming on the bottom lane, you might not say I'm gonna TP top to save my ally because I will waste a whole lot of farm. But if you're the Crystal Maiden and you're just like trying to pull and everything, there you have no excuse of not TPing top to help. This is the most important aspect of being a support hero, and this shows who is a good support as opposed to who is just someone playing a support hero and not really having a clue of what to do. TP Scrolls, support heroes, trying to help and saving their allies every time is the most key element to being a good support hero. You see someone getting ganked top, TP top and save him his ass. Someone's getting ganked mid, TP mid and save his ass, etc, etc. You have to be always there at the right moment, at the right time, and it's a very hard thing to do. Now onto the magic stick. The magic stick is a very cost efficient item. It only costs 200 and it gives you health and mana back as how many charges you gain. You gain charges by having enemy heroes casting spells around you. So this magic stick, especially since you have low health pool, will be more efficient in percentage. So get the magic stick, it's always a good item, it's cheap, and also it will turn into a magic wand, which gives you not only the benefit of the magic stick, but also +3 in all stats, which is something you need because you're a poor, very poor support hero. So get the magic stick, turn it into a magic wand every time. Then the bracer, comes the bracer. The bracer is not necessary, let's say. It's just a very good item for support heroes because it helps you getting more HP. It gives you a bit more stats of intelligence, agility, damage, everything. But more importantly, it allows you to avoid from dying instantly in the team fights. So bracers, if you see yourself dying too often, get bracers. Flying Courier. This item, get it as soon as possible, because as soon as you get the Flying Courier, your team will have the advantage over the enemy team if they don't have a Flying Courier. Flying Courier goes way faster than the normal Courier, and he is also dying less easily. So less chance of having your courier sniped and more deliveries. Something to keep in mind also as a support item is, although you will buy the courier, you have the least priority over the courier. Mid lane needs a courier, let him have it. The suicide lane solo needs a courier, let him have it. You need the courier, you have to wait until everyone uses it. So, keep in mind that although you bought the courier, you don't have priority over anyone else. So this is it for the early game items, and let's go over the important items now, the core items. So again, Observer Wards, TP Scroll. This, always I talked about it already. Magic Wand, I talked about it already. Ring of Vasilius. Why do I talk about the Ring of Vasilius? Usually you'll not get it as a support hero because someone else will already have it. It might be position 4 or position 5. Oh well, I have to explain to you this very quickly. In Chinese Dota, they have their position named after numbers. Position 1 will get all the farm, and position 5 will get the least farm. So basically it's like hard carries, semi carries, utility, semi support, the secondary support, and hard support. As a Crystal Maiden, you're position 5, hard support. Position 4 normally is someone like a Tide Hunter who doesn't so rely on items. He can do something without his items. If he gets items, even better, but without items he can still be very useful in the team fight with Gush, Ravage, Anchor Smash, and basically this is the guy normally in the start of the game who will buy the Observer Wars if you buy the Courier. Normally you should share a bit between Observer Wars in the early game. He should get some, you should get some. After this goes on, you should be the only one getting the wars after this. So Ring of Asilius very often will be picked by someone else. Imagine you have a Morphling on your team. He's position 1, of course, and usually he'll get a Ring of Asilius. So if someone already has it, well, it's okay. You don't need to get it. If no one have it, why do I say you need the Ring of Asilius? Ring of Asilius give a very good aura. It gives you mana regen, not only to you but your allies, and also, most importantly, it gives 2 bonus armor to everyone. And 2 bonus armor might not seem like much, but it's extremely good to push. Not only to push, but also in team fights, having 2 extra armor. You pop from, for example, you see here physical resistance, it's 11%. Now I'm gonna get plus 2 armor with the Ring of Protection. I pop to 19%. So I effectively gain 8% resistance to physical damage, which is a lot. And if you give this 8% to every ally, it's 40% effective gain, because you're 5 hero times 8, 40%. So Ring of Asilius, very good item. Keep in mind to deactivate it if you're just farming in the lane, activate it if you're pushing. So Ring of Asilius, now sell it.
Into the breach.
Second item that's very important, Urn of Shadows. Very often, also, you'll not be the one getting it because sometimes you'll have gankers getting it. For example, Night Stalker will get the Urn of Shadows, or Sand King will get the Urn of Shadows. If no one gets it, however, get it, because it gives you plus 6 strength. So this is a lot of HP. It's like 120 HP right now. And also, it gives you the ability to heal your allies or damage your enemies when you get a kill. So for example, the lion here will get killed. Yep. And I'll gain 2 charge of Urn of Shadows. When you have 0 charges, it gets 2 charges, and then afterwards it only gets 1. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and the Urn of Shadow allows you to basically heal your allies as much as a healing salve. So as a support hero, you'll be very happy to have this item, especially since, as I said before, you won't have any big items like a carry. You won't have lifesteal, you won't have health regen, the Ring of Health and stuff like this. You won't have Perseverance. You'll only go around with like Tangles and Salve, and if you have an Urn of Shadow, you'll be very happy because you can heal with this. So Urn of Shadow, if no one has it, get it. It's a very good item. It gives you mana regeneration, HP, it gives you a very, very nice active ability, so no reason not to get it. Mechanism is one of the most important item for the support heroes. If no one has it, get it, and be that at minute 15 or 45 or 50, I don't care. Mechanism will always be useful. There's no late mechanism. If you get it very late, it's worse than if you get it in the early game, but it's still useful. It gives you 250 HP boost in the area, and also it pops. Everyone gets 2 armor from the active ability, and also as a passive, it helps your allies regen 4 HP per second. It also gives you 5 attribute and 5 armor, which is very good for the support hero, as I said before. So the armor, however, doesn't go over the allies. Unfortunately, you see that he's only having 3 armor. If I pop it, however, he'll have 3 plus 2 for I think 30 seconds or something like this. So I forgot about the time. Multiple instances of mechanism do not stack, and that also means for the active. While you have this buff, you cannot get healed again by mechanism. At least I think so. It was like this in Dota 1. So, what does that mean? If someone goes for a mechanism, don't make it yourself. Okay? So, if you have 2 mechanism on the team, it's bad. It's, as I said, as a support hero, you have very low mana, very low gold to spare, and if you get 2 times the same items, it's a big waste. Pipe of Insight. Usually, Pipe of Insight, you won't be the one getting it also, because it will be the utility hero or the secondary support. It costs way more, and it's basically somewhat like the mechanism. Why do I say that? It's because those are very 2 big team fight items. We used to see in 6 months ago the at least Eastern European Dota. What they did is they time the mechanism in the pipe, and then they take the advantage. They have those items, the enemy don't have those items. They go and they push with those items, and they have the advantage in the team fight because they have 400 spell damage block from the Pipe of Insight, and they have a 250 HP heal from the Chasm. So that's like 650 HP for everyone in bonus, which is enormous. So Pipe of Insight not only gives you spell resistance to the hero that has it, but also it has this nifty ability to give everyone a barrier. And that the difference between the pipe and the mechanism is the mechanism is used reflectively. Basically the mechanism is used as a reaction. The team fight happens, some people are taking damage, use the mechanism. Pipe is used as an initiator. You want to go on the high ground, you pop the pipe, and then you go. So it's just telling the enemy, do you want to fight us or not? You know, I'm going in, be prepared. So Pipe of Insight, you have to pop it before the fight. Mechanism, you have to pop it during the fight. And the reason why I said the pipe you don't get it on the support hero is usually because it's too expensive, and because this item doesn't give you that much. It only gives you 30% spell resistance, and on the support hero you have so low health that 30% spell resistance isn't going to help you a lot. So if no one has it, still get it. Note that it's risky to get mechanism and the pipe on the same hero, because if he goes down before the fight happens, well, you just lost 2 of the biggest team fight items in your team. Now the last item that I don't see very often, that is very good, is the Drum of Endurance. Very often, as I said before, you will have a Bracer as a support hero because you need the cheap HP. Now, the Drum of Endurance is an upgrade from the Bracer that basically gives you +9 to all stats, which is enormous. Like if you take a look at the Ultimate Orb, it's 2,100 gold for +10 to all stats. This is only 1,700 and gives you +9 to all stats. Plus it gives you +9 damage. Plus it gives you 5 aura attack speed and 5% movement speed aura. Plus it gives you an active ability that increase +10 attack speed. Oh, actually +10 attack damage, or maybe speed. I think it's speed, and +10 movement speed, which stacks with the original passive. So it's like +10, +15%, +15%. So this is enormous. For the support hero, you'll get a lot of stats from this. You'll be very happy, and plus you'll have this very good ability to pop in the team fight, pop while you're chasing, pop while you're escaping, and that will help your team get the mobility. So normally with all these items, you're already very hard pressed to get all of them because you're a support hero, and if you get items such as like this, be very happy. You should be fulfilled as a support hero if you manage to get all those items already. But if you get more, which is something that's good, if you actually manage to get more, there are some items to consider. First is if they are in this hero, like a Riki, like a Bounty Hunter, like a Weaver, get the dust. You should be the first one to think about getting dust. Sometimes people will be very greedy in your game and they won't want to buy dust or sentries because they're like, I have to save for my item, which is a big mistake, because when they're doing so, the enemy always escapes and he'll get very, very fat. So if no one gets the dust, get it. Get it as a support hero, get it before anyone else. A ganker should get it, but support hero should also get those items. So Central Wards, Dust of Appearance, get those if you have a enemy invis hero on the lane. And especially something that people tend to forget, and that is very, very annoying, is an early Central Ward against someone who can go invis on the lane is gonna raid them. You're laning against a Broodmother and you're losing against a Broodmother, put down a Central Ward and she won't be able to do anything. Same for the Bounty Hunter. He's around, he used the Wind Walk to get experience and then harass you with the Jinada Strike and then go back into Invis 4. Put a Central Ward. He won't be able to do that anymore. So Central Wards, very early Central Wards win you your lane. You'll be surprised to see how effective this is, and you'll maybe even have people telling you you're a tryhard and blah 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 like this. Don't worry about this. Second thing about Central Ward is counter warding. Now, there's a reason why I didn't put the Central Ward in the core items, which normally should be a core item in competitive play at least, right? Everyone's counter warding, everyone is doing this. You're in low, mid, high, or very high brackets. Counter warding isn't going to be as useful as in competitive game because, as I said before, people won't be able to make anything out of it. You might be counter warding. This is good. They lose vision, but they didn't, they didn't use it in the first place. And this is 200 gold. So you have to be very careful about, do I want to go and counter ward, or do I want to keep the gold for something else? Usually you want to keep the gold for something else. Counter warding is good, but it's not necessary, as opposed to like smoke ganks, dust of appearance, getting the mechanism. So those are the most important things. Smoke, I also put it as a situational item because you have to have the team that follows you when you do this. It's a very good item to gank. It's a very good item to pull some comebacks with. But as again, like the Sentry Wards, like the Observer Wards, you have to be with the right team. So if the team isn't with you, don't go for the Smoke of Deceit. If you see your allies are not going to communicate with you, if you see your allies are not going to help you, go for Mechanism, go for Urn of Shadow, go for Drum of Endurance. Don't waste your time buying smokes because they won't do anything with you. Gem of Truesight, I put it here because sometimes you might be the one buying it to give it to your carry or to your big tanky initiator. But you shouldn't be the one carrying it. Still, if you have some extra gold to spare and there's an annoying Rikimaru walking around, get the Gem of Truesight, give it to someone who is going to stay alive, and watch as the Rikimaru will kill himself a lot of time on your gen carrier. Now onto the boots. Boots, of course, are also core items, but I didn't put them because it was, cluttering too much. And you have 4 different boots you usually want to go for. Arcane Boots is one of the most favored boots, at least from me when I'm playing a support, because it gives you a lot of mana and gives your allies a lot of mana. And having like 2 or 3 Arcane Boots in the same team will make you able to siege the enemy like there's no tomorrow. Mechanism, multiple instances of Arcane Boots, your enemies will have to let those towers go, because you'll be here sieging up the towers, using your spells at long range to harass them down, and if they don't have any Arcane Boots or Mechanism, well, you'll win the exchange, because you can heal up your mana, you can heal up your health with the Mechanism, with the Arcane Boots, they can't. So Arcane Boots, I really love this item. It's gonna help your team a whole lot, and that's why I always get it. Tranquil Boots is some items that usually you'll be able to get because it's cheap. It's the cheapest boot. It gives you good movement speed as long as you don't get attacked, and it gives you an ability to heal up when you're just roaming around, right? So if you're roaming around, it might be a good item, but I'm not a great fan of those boots. Power Tread, it's always a good boot to get because you can get the strength power tread, and that gives you extra health. And with the extra health, this is always something good to avoid dying. So for example, you see just here, going from 740 health to 890 health, so 150 health approximately gained. So it's always good. And the phase boots, so this is if you're aggressive, you'll gain attack damage, which is always good and not to be overlooked. Movement speed and the phase ability to move around and in ganks. Crystal Maiden sometimes want to go for the phase boots if you're aggressive. Still, I usually don't want to get those because it means that I forsake Arcane Boots or Power Treads. Vladimir offering. Very often you forget the Vladimir offering because you're like, I'm not a melee hero anyway. What does Vlad give me? What it gives you and what it gives your team is it will give you not only so I'm gonna put this down to actually show you. So what does Vlad gives you? For 2,000 gold only, it gives you an aura lifesteal, so it's gonna help your allies your melee allies. It gives you 15% bonus damage, so it's an aura as well. You're not gonna benefit from it as much as anyone wants, but your carriers are gonna be very happy with this. 5 bonus armor. This is enormous. I already talked about bonus armor when I was talking about Ring of Basilius. This is +2. This is +5. +5 is incredible. It will increase your resistance from 11% to 28% here on the Crystal Maiden. And it gives this to all your allies. Also, it gives you mana regen, which is not really a lot, but it will always be good. So Vlad, very often people tend to forget this item, but if no one gets it, if no one has Ring of Basilius, and you have an early Ring of Basilius, don't forget you can turn it into a Vladimir offering. It's a very good item as well. The Medallion of Courage is something that very few players use because it's hard to use well. It basically gives you +6 armor, plus 50% mana regeneration, and it's somewhat like the Urn of Shadow. It's like an item that you get early on with the Sobi Mask +1 item, and it allows you with this armor to, when you cast it on an enemy, it reduces your armor by 6, so it takes away the bonus from the Medallion of Courage, and it reduces the enemy armor by 6. It's very good for ganking, and since you're the support hero, you'll not be the one normally in melee range to the enemy. So if no one gets it, you can always get it, especially if you're playing with heroes that have very strong early game physical burst damage, such as a Templar Assassin, such as a Bounty Hunter, such as a Lycan, such as a Slaughter that already has minus armor. Those hero works very well with Medallion of Courage, but they might not get them themselves because the Medallion of Courage doesn't give them so much as their own hero goes. You might want to get it for them. So when the gank happens, you come in, you land a Nova, then you land a Frostbite, and then you start the Medallion of Courage, and your ally can come in and rape the enemy. So those are 2 situational items, and now on to the very late items, usually that you get when you have a lot of gold. Force Staff. Force Staff is super good because I can't really tell you how good it is. It makes you able to move around, but also it makes you able to push your allies around. Doesn't seem like this works. Yeah, okay, no, never mind. I thought it would actually work on the item as well, but never mind. So Force Staff, you can push your allies, you can push your enemies, you can push yourself, you can push anyone. It's a great item. It's a great item for mobility, for ganks, for team fights, anything. If you have extra gold, get the Force Staff. The BKB. BKB is an item that very rarely you'll ever get because it's so expensive, and basically what it gives you is the ability to stand in a team fight without getting melted from all the AoEs. The Ghost Scepter is an item that very often people tend to forget. It's a very good item on the support heroes because usually as a support hero you'll be getting like 3-shotted maximum by the enemy carry. Like sniper suddenly decide to shoot you, 1, 2, 3, you're dead. Ghost Scepter allows you to survive for 4 seconds. And that means if anti-mage blinks on you and try to attack you, you pop the Ghost Scepter, and that's 4 seconds where the enemy anti-mage can't hit you, and he has to go and find another target, so you're effectively not only saving yourself but wasting his time, which is very important. So Ghost Scepter, important item as well on the support hero, and Blink Dagger at the very end, if you still want the mobility, you know, to move around and attack the enemy. Early Blink Dagger might be very aggressive and might be very good, but I usually like the Force Staff better because you can save your ally with it. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed this video on the support items and when to get them. So to quickly recap, early game, get some stats, try not to die, ward up but not too much, and keep TP scroll. Be everywhere on the map where your allies need you. You have to be everywhere where your allies need you. This is the most important, more than ward, more than anything. So map placement, be very careful about this when you're a support player. Then warding, do not overdo it. Play adapted to your bracket and to your allies. And then get some aura, get some team items. Get this magic one for yourself. Get the Ring of Basilius, the Urn of Shadows, the Mechanism, the Pipe of Insight, and the Gem of Endurance. All those items are very good. If you have one in the team, it's usually enough. And then also, don't forget the situational items. The Dust and the Sentry is very important if you are against invisible hero. Never overlook those the importance of those items. The boots also, get the right boots, get the boots you like. And also at the end, don't forget that if you are in danger, you have some options that you can go for. And always keep a TP scroll. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have any other requests, feel free to ask, and I'll try to do my best to make another video on it. Thank you for watching. See ya.